Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Awesome Goalkeeper. I just want to say, before we start this video, a massive thank you to everybody for 250 subscribers. It's absolutely insane. The growth on the channel since my last video has been mental. It's got about 75 views as time of recording. So thank you guys so much for all the support on that video. It does mean a lot, and it might be worth sort of changing content a bit, because obviously that video has done really well considering the views I normally get on my channel, and I've made a lot of subscribers from it, so maybe this is the way to go, which is why I'm going to sort of have a sequel to that video on where I think your team is going to finish in the Premier League this season. But before we get on to that, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed from the last video and you've seen this one pop up and you recommended, or this is your first time watching me and you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. Even if you don't subscribe yet, watch the video and I will hopefully earn your subscription by then. The order I'm going to do it in is 20th all the way up to 3rd. 19th and 20th, I believe everybody agrees with the two teams we're going to pop there, but it just depends what order it's going to be. So for 20th, I've decided to go for AFC Bournemouth. Now, I'm sure you can now gather who 19th is going to be, but before we move on to them, I'm just going to quickly talk about Bournemouth. It's good they've come back up. I do like Bournemouth. Obviously, like the Eddie Howe Road to Glory sort of thing. It's like he was playing a FIFA career mode. Like, he picked them up on the lower leagues and took them to the Premier League. It's a shame they went down. I do kind of like Bournemouth. I think they're a decent club. The stadium's obviously not the greatest, but you can't judge a club on the stadium. And I just think that Bournemouth are going to go straight back down again. Recently, they've signed Marcus Tavernier from Middlesbrough for £10 million. That's a very solid signing, I think. It's going to be a good cam for them. But Dominic Solanke can never seem to do it in the Premier League. David Brooks coming back from his cancer treatment, which is really, really good news. Kiefer Moore being a new signing, I believe in January, he was doing pretty okay. Jadon Anthony, in my last video, I said that he's going to be Bournemouth's best player this season. Even if it's not week in, week out, he's still going to be one of the best players on the pitch when he's playing. And hopefully I'm right there, because he's a very, very young player. Sorry, apologies mate if I'm swelling out. He's a very, very young player, and he's definitely got a future. And I think Bournemouth do have a future in the Premier League, but I don't think they do this season. I just don't think their team is strong enough. Right, 19th. Because I said Bournemouth is 20th, I think 19th is pretty obvious. I'm going to go Fulham. I do feel like Fulham are going to go back down. I think the one thing that can keep Fulham up this season is Mitrovic. I think he's the one person that can keep Fulham up. I wholeheartedly believe that, because if he continues his Premier League form as he does his Championship, Fulham are safe. Realistically, Fulham are safe. If he can bang in the goals, Fulham are safe. Like, obviously, you don't expect them to beat your Man Cities, even your Leicesters necessarily, but when it comes to like Crystal Palace or Brighton, I mean, Brighton is a very good team, but they've lost two of their strong players, or at least one of them. I think Kukurea is going to leave, so that'll be their second. Teams such as Southampton, they're the games that they need to pick up points, because if they can pick up points against teams around them in the relegation area, then I think that Fulham could stay up, but I don't see it happening. Fulham are a yo-yo club. They go up, down, up, down, up, down. Mitrovic is one of the only main players I can name from Fulham. They've signed Andreas Pereira, haven't they? I don't know if he's on loan or a transfer, so at least they'll have a goal of the season contender, but I don't think that Fulham are going to stay up, and I do not see Fulham ever having a future in the Premier League, if I'm going to be honest with you. 18th, I'm going to have to go Southampton. And it pains me to say that, because I really, really like Southampton as a club. There is quite a few Premier League teams that I just do like, and Southampton's one of them. They've got Che Adams, he's an okay player. James Ward-Prowse, he's too good for the club. He is way too good for Southampton. He's outgrown them. If he does as well as he does every season, he could keep them up, but I don't see it happening. You can't rely on a goalkeeper and a midfielder. Belo Kotchap's joined from Bochum. He's young. He's probably Championship quality. I don't think he's Premier League quality. Livramento is going to be injured for the start of the season. Armando Broja's gone back to Chelsea off his loan. So I just don't see him staying up. I really don't. 17th, I'm going to go for Brentford. Now, The reason I've gone for Brentford being very close to the relegation zone is that often when Premier League, if you join the Premier League, you start your first season, your second season, you get slightly worse. I think the most recent example you could really say is Sheffield United, comfortable the season before, relegated the season after. Where did they finish? They finished like 12th or 13th, they finished 20th the next year, barely able to score a goal. I'm scared that could happen to Brentford. I know they've got Ivan Toney and they've got Mbeumo, and Onyeka and players like that. David Ray is a decent goalkeeper, but Sheffield United were like that. They're a decent team. And I'm just scared now that they've lost Ericsson that they're not going to be able to stay up. I do want Brentford to stay up, definitely, but there's always that thought that they might not. But that's why I put them above the relegation zone, because I do see that they've got more chance staying in the Premier League than Southampton. Right, above Brentford, I think it's a very unpopular one. I'm going Everton. And the reason I'm going for Everton is effectively Richarlison. Richarlison helped keep them up last year massively. He was an instrumental part of that team. But now he's gone to Tottenham Hotspur. And what Everton meant to do now, one of their star players has left for a Premier League rival. Now, I know it's not like a main rivalry, Everton-Tottenham. There's a gulping class between the two. But I feel like when you lose a main player like that, who had such good chemistry with Calvert-Lewin, that's a really big issue. They have spent a lot of money on players that just have not worked out. Everton are just getting close and close to the Championship. Don't know if Frank Lampard's got it in him. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to go Everton in 16th position. Now, 15th, I'm going to have to go Leeds United. Definitely on the up. However, Rafinha and Calvin Phillips have gone. Do have some decent players. I said that Melier was going to be your best player this season. If he is, you're staying up, aren't you? If your goalkeeper's your best player, you're probably staying up. Lower mid-table, definitely something that they can hit. Jesse Marsh bringing in a load of Americans from the Red Bull teams. So you could see that as a positive. The hope is that Leeds can stay up, because I know a lot of people like them. And it might go down to the final day, but with them being in 15th, I don't think it's going to go down to the final day. I think there'll be clear relegation with like 5 games to go. Right, 14th, I'm going to go Nottingham Forest. Now, the thing with Nottingham Forest is they can either do incredibly well or incredibly bad this season. They made a lot of signings, and I mean a lot of signings. And the thing with that is they could gel perfectly, and it could be a great squad. They could be pushing 12th, 11th. Yeah, so 14th, I think, is a realistic position for them if all their signings don't work out. You can't sign all those players and not a single one of them be a flop. They're definitely going to have a flop or two in there. And hopefully that's not Jesse Lingard, because I think Jesse Lingard is going to be a big part of this Forest team. I think Jesse Lingard, Brennan Johnson, Dean Henderson, these are all the main Forest players that are going to help them stay up. Jim O'Brien, Harry Toffolo, everybody like that. I think they're going to be strong first team players for Forest. And I'm excited for this season for Forest. It's their first in the Prem for however many years, it's like 25 years or something. They're finally back in the Prem. Obviously, I'm wearing the counter shirt today, but I do want Forest to do well, because they're my local Premier League team, and I do want them to stay up. 13th, I'm going to go Crystal Palace, and reason being is I feel like they're just a mid-table team, aren't they? I don't think they're good enough to press for Europe. I've gone for 13th because it's just a pretty average position for Crystal Palace to end up being in. They're not a relegation threatened team anymore under Patrick Vieira. They had some really good signings. The only issue is no Conor Gallagher, but I feel like, as I said in my last video, SA can step up and he can perform as both of them. But yeah, I'm hoping that Edouard Zaha can bang in the goals for Crystal Palace. Nothing against them, I just feel like they're just an average mid-table team at the moment. Fourth, I'm going for Wolves. You'd probably expect them to come up in this sort of position, and I have done that because they don't concede, but they don't really score either, do they? So I feel like Wolves are going to be picking up a lot of draws this season. A couple of wins, probably more losses than wins I'm going to go for, but lots of draws, and I think that's where that's what's going to push them up the table. 11th, and I'm going to go Leicester City. I feel like they're on the down, Leicester City. Was it like the second season in the Premier League, wasn't it, for Leicester, when they won the league? Because they nearly got relegated the season before, they won it the season after, it was something like that. There's only two original players from that Leicester team now, being James Vardy and I'd like to say Mark Albrighton. And there's been lots of changes in that Leicester team. Harvey Barnes being a very, very good young player for them, and I don't know, they just strike me as a mid-table team, so that's all I can really say. 10th, I'm going to go Brighton. I think Brighton are going to finish 10th because they're pushing upwards, aren't they? They've lost now Ibasuma, probably going to lose Cucurella, but, you know, it's Brighton at the end of the day, isn't it? And I think they're going to do really well for themselves. I think they're going to surprise a few people because they're not really expected to be up there still. I know people do talk about Brighton being a solid team now, but I think people still underestimate them, and I think it's going to be exciting seeing them rise up through the Premier League and eventually push for those Europa League spots. Brighton is a really, really well-run club, and talking of well-run clubs, we're going to move over now to Aston Villa. They've had some wonderful signings this year with Diego Carlos, Camara, and Coutinho. I think Coutinho is going to be the best performer this season. I do still think he is. I mean, I only made that prediction 3-4 days ago. But yeah, I do think that that's going to be the case for Aston Villa. I think they're going to do exceptionally well this season. Finishing 9th is a good position for Aston Villa. They've been lower Premier League, haven't they, for the last couple of years? And with Jack Grealish going sort of like fans' favourite, I think it's good sometimes to have a change. And Buendia and Coutinho have to step in for Jack Grealish, but I do think they'll finish 9th this year. I do think they're going to do really well under Steven Gerrard. Very, very good manager. Right, 8th. Now this is where it's sort of getting into it. There's only two what you could class as smaller clubs before you get into the big six. And 8th, I'm going to go Newcastle United. I said smaller clubs because they're not still as recognised as being Europe challengers, and I do think Newcastle can be that. So, you know, it's Newcastle United. They've got stupid money, and it's just going to be cool to see how a club like Newcastle can climb up the ranks and probably get to the dominance of Manchester City. I mean, it's not something I want, obviously, because it's just another rival at the top for my club, but it's going to be cool to see another club step in there. It's been the same clubs for so long now. Manchester City probably being the most recent addition, and it's just going to be exciting to see Newcastle really step up, because they've been treated horribly as a club, haven't they, from Mike Ashley. 7th, I'm going West Ham, a Europa League spot. I think they can do it again. West Ham, they're a very good team now with Jared Bowen, Mikel Antonio, Declan Rice probably for one more season. They're a very, very good team. David Moyes is a decent manager. I think West Ham is the club for him. It's the right club for him. And I do believe that West Ham are going to outshine what people think they are. Even though that it's a 7th position, which is probably whereabouts most people are popping them, 7th to 9th, I believe. Europe, they got to the semis, didn't they? They got knocked out, or did they get to the final? I can't remember because, shockingly, I don't follow the Europa League very well. I think it's going to be interesting to see, and West Ham, I do think you're going to get Europe. Right, we're now into the top 6, and I know it's boring, but the top 6 is the big 6. 6th place, I'm going Manchester United. Now we're like, well, Man U are going to get Champions League because Ten Hag's their new manager. It doesn't take one season to pull a club like Man United back into the Champions League. I don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot going on at Man U right now, and it's in a bit of a state, isn't it? And Ten Hag isn't able to come in and flip it on its head in one season. That's just not how managers work. If he does, I'll be so surprised, and I'll hold my hands up, and I'll be like, yeah, I got that one wrong, because I do not expect Ten Hag to be able to flip it in one season. Maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons, yeah, Champions League, definitely. He's a good manager, but he's got no Premier League experience, and we'll see. We will see. You're not going to have Cristiano Ronaldo for too long. You might not have De Gea for too long. It depends if he just wants to move. But it's going to be interesting with your small centre backs. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Right, 5th place. I'm going for Arsenal. They're going to bottle it again, and they're going to miss out on the Champions League. But this will be the last season of doing it because they've got Emile Smith Rowe, Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel. Ramsdale. Arsenal is really, really good. In terms of youngsters, Arsenal are definitely up there in the tops of the league. They've got great youngsters, and I do think next year they're going to get Champions League, but this year I think they're going to get pipped to the post by my fourth place Tottenham. They're going to get in the Champions League yet again. Well, Tottenham, their signings have been really, really, really good. Jared Spence, Yves Bissouma, Perisic, Kulusevski and Bentancur in January, Antonio Conte, one of the best managers in the world. Tottenham are fully, fully on the up, and they're going to start threatening Chelsea, and I don't like that. but yeah, Tottenham are definitely on the up, definitely getting there with Huminson and Harry Kane up top. It's a very, very dangerous team for Tottenham. It's a very dangerous team. Now, my third place, I'm going to go for Chelsea. Leaving the top two, I think the top two is pretty obvious, but Chelsea being third, my club, I don't really have much to say about it. Thomas Tuchel doing really nicely at the club. Mason Mount being probably who I think is going to be our best performer, but Raheem Sterling, new signing, can't complain with that, can you? Koulibaly going to be replacing Rudiger. Great stuff. Thiago Silva will just fill in there for Christensen as well. With Azpilicueta, I hope will stay at right back, and our back line with Edouard Mendy in goal as well, and Reece James probably on the left, or Chilwell on the left, and Reece James on the right. I don't know. We're spoiled for choice at Chelsea, and it's really exciting. Now, second place, I'm going to go Liverpool. Liverpool, yeah, you're good, but you're not as good as Man City, are you? I know you beat them 3-1, but that's one game at the start of the season. I think Man City can do it in a rainy night in Stoke. There's a difference between Nunez and Haaland. Nunez has proved himself in the Portuguese league and some of the Champions League. Haaland's proved himself in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. He is a much better player. Erling Haaland is younger and better than Darwin Nunez. And I know you're like, oh no, Darwin Nunez is just as good as Haaland. No, he's not. He might have cost more, because I think Haaland was like 60 odd million, Nunez was 77 or something like that. He may have cost more, that doesn't make him a better player. Haaland is younger, better, stronger, fitter, he's quicker, better shooting. Haaland is just a full package, he's literally an AI robot, he's literally an android. Liverpool have lost Sadio Mane, right? They've lost Mane now. Is Luis Diaz going to be able to fill in to the quality that Mane had? Is Diego Jota going to be able to fill into the quality that Mane has? So I'm going to have Man City as Premier League champions the 22-23 season yet again. Pains me to say it, pains me to see it. I don't like Man City at all, but you know, it is what it is, and I do think Man City are going to have a great season. Smash a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.